Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 232, December 15th, 2021. How is everyone doing out there? Thanks very much for joining us. With us, as per usual, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from DC. How are you today, sir?
I'm better. I got my software update finally.
Exactly. So what are you at now?
I now have Fsd Beta 10.6.1, and smoother, yes, but it seems to make all the same stuff that really annoyed me about 10.5. So I'm really curious what 10.6 would have been like, and I'm looking forward to what Elon is talking about version 11, which is really 10.7, and we'll see.
Very good.
If they made that many improvements in 0.1 versions, I will be ecstatic. But I don't. I'm skeptical.
You're not quite sure.
I'm waiting for my second fire emoji a year later.
Also joining us tonight, as per usual, Mr. Patrick Connor from the Portland area. How are you today, sir?
Hello, I'm good. Hey, everybody out there in Tesla Nation. I like all the weather starting. That's pretty cool. Hopefully I get to join Casey soon in the Fsd Beta Club.
Yeah.
Early on when this thing started, we had one bad day. It was a 33. And yeah. So that's been pulling down the average, and that one is gone now. So things are looking up. So maybe soon I'll be in the club too.
Now, Patrick, I'm curious. Was that running over one or two people to get to 33?
That was avoiding other idiot drivers and not getting into a collision. So it was the right thing to do.
Speaking of, I had one in the rain this week. I was doing 60 on the road. Could have been doing 65 because of the speed limit, but it was started to rain. So I'm just going down the road with FSD. FSD and I see this guy in the turning lane, and both of us think he can't possibly be this stupid. He could. So instead of not just cutting left across us, he decides to make a U-turn into our lane and then not have a car that can accelerate. So between the two of us, we managed to get the binders on, beeping and screaming everywhere. The road had, it had just started to rain, so even though I had good brakes, I was not leaving enough room for somebody to be that stupid. I mean, if somebody had cut across me, I left room, but not to get out in front of me doing 0 from my 60. And so I hit the binders, ABS kicks in, and then we end up in the lane next to where we were, and there were gestures involved.
Gestures and some bleeping, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
No denting.
No denting, and no numbskulls were injured. So.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, we started a minute late, and that's my fault. Sorry, everybody. I was too busy buying Tesla stock.
It's on sale. But this is not a stock show, so
you're
talk
right.
to your person.
Investment advice. I'm just telling you that.
What he did.
Hey, it was just at 1,200. Now it's below 1,000. I'm going to pick up a few shares and hopefully sell them in a year for more than what they are now.
Why doesn't it ever go on sale after I get paid? Like right after I get
paid. Well, I'm just
they're tracking you specifically.
Yeah,
Casey.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Ruin it.
Here's Casey's bank account, and the stock does the opposite.
Right.
Well, let's get started. We got a ton of news as per usual, and Patrick's got our first story about what's happening, Patrick, with calibration equipment.
That is right. So as you all know, if you've been watching the show, Mark and I have a long-running who's going to get up and running first, Germany or Texas, even though Germany, Giga Berlin, got a big head start. And every time there's even a little bit of progress in Austin, I want to talk about it here to say it's going to be Texas. And so, as you know, there are drones constantly flying over anything that Tesla's doing. And the latest spotting there is in Giga, Texas. They have seen a shipment of pre-assembled Model Y dashboards. Well, why would they be bringing pre-assembled dashboards? It's because they are going to be testing out assembly and making sure that everything is ready when they start actually producing these on site. And Model Y is certainly Tesla's biggest seller right now, so it makes sense to get that one up and going first. And so one small step forward for Giga Texas, one giant leap ahead for Tesla Nation.
So why didn't they test putting them together in that factory and then test those in the car?
That would make sense, but if you are trying to test your calibration equipment and other things, you might want to start with something
known good
production quality. Yeah, that way you're making sure your calibration equipment that's on site works properly.
Fair enough.
They also could be using them to, calibrate their own line of those assembly of steering wheel packages or get dash packages. They could be using them to say, not only are we going to install a few in some cars, but we're also going to calibrate the line that's going to be making those dashboards going forward.
Right.
They really have twice as many as what we saw in the picture because they made them in-house.
That's right.
Probably.
Yeah. So
hey, new face.
Yeah, that's cool that they are. This progress is great to see. Regardless of the bet, which I still think I might win, but regardless of that bet, I think that it's good to see progress at both plants because they are running neck and neck to start producing cars. And the sooner they can start producing cars, the better it is going to be for Tesla because those orders are certainly being pushed out into 2022. And I'm sure there's a number of owners that would love to get their hands on it as soon as they can. So, and that would, of course, possibly release the pressure maybe on pricing as well. If you start producing in more volume, that could help that scenario as well. So let's hope both factories get rolling very soon.
Yeah.
The Model X's, they got pushed back a month. So January became February, February became March. So they could use the extra space.
Yeah. Well, our next story is about Autobidder. And Autobidder, of course, is a software package that Tesla has employed to sell electricity to utilities based on the amount of electricity collected inside their battery packs, typically mega packs or power packs, and sell it back to utility as demand requires. There's a new story out that in Queensland, Australia, that a new battery pack is going to be brought online, and they're going to be assigning Autobidder to that. Because they've been so successful in South Australia already. So this is a new installation that will be using Autobidder to do exactly that, sell back electricity when the price is high, store electricity when the price is low, or of course purchase it if there's surplus. And they can store it and then wait until the price goes high again and sell it at that point. So this is really like a stock market that Tesla really kind of controls because since they do have the utility to store energy at any time, if there's capacity left in their battery system, they have that unique ability that they can hang on to it and watch the price increase as demand goes up and then decide to release that electricity and make it certainly it can be quite a profit based on what they bought it for or were able to store it at. So
they paid the first plant off in what, 3 months with it's
exactly
brilliant software.
Yeah. And of course, that plant immediately decided they were going to almost double in size for battery pack because they saw this is working so well. The payoff period, the ROI was so quick. They really didn't believe it when they got into business initially, but certainly being able to prove the software can sell in microseconds and store it whenever they need certainly has made a big difference for South Australia. So this new Queensland site is going to get into the game now. So I think this should be, I know that in South Australia, it certainly made a change to the power grid as well. It gave them that utility to, shave off the peaks and to be able to reduce, use of peaker plants that were typically, naturally gas fired. So that reduced emissions as well. So here's to another region in Australia picking up the ball and running with it based on the roadmap that's already been laid out by South Australia. So congratulations to Queensland.
I'm curious how long they'd anticipated the first one would take to pay itself off. Obviously, they've adjusted their expectations now.
Certainly now. But you're right. I got to believe, Casey, that when Tesla first proposed this, I bet you they thought, it's probably going to save us some money. Yeah, definitely we're going to get involved with it. But I bet you that the outlook looked way too rosy for them.
Yeah.
Because there's been, obviously it's never happened before. There was no track to follow as to what happened with somebody else. It was just Tesla's claims at that point. And
they were bold claims.
and certainly it looks like they've been able to match those claims.
Yeah,
right.
So all of this happens just in time for the Australian government to try and apply the brakes in favor of coal.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
that is something that you've got to get. If you show a roadmap that this can happen and that there are ways to get around coal, I think the people can reverse those type of decisions because they can actually see that there is an alternative to coal-fired power plants now.
Yeah, so if you got a politician up there preaching that coal is the only way, and you're sitting there looking at all these solar and batteries that are actually making it so that you can actually afford electricity again. Because I keep going back to this interview where the reporter was asking Elon, what are you going to do about the people who have to choose between air conditioning and food? And he started to cry. He's like, we'll try harder. We'll make it better. And then immediately they have stuff like this. And
right, it's happening.
The prices of retail, like home electricity, have been going down like very quickly.
Right. Yeah, batteries are just such a better technology. If you have a gas turbine, you can't spin it up in a millisecond to respond to price fluctuations. If there's a surplus on the grid, you can't absorb that with a gas turbine. Batteries are what makes all this possible.
Yeah, in a place as hot and generally as dry as Australia, you don't want to try and rely on pumped hydro either. Not for all of it.
We pumped it uphill, but then it evaporated, so we got nothing.
Exactly. Next, Patrick, were you going to take this icing story?
No.
My mistake.
I can do it.
Go ahead, Casey. This is concerning icing in China.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So a couple months ago, and then a couple months before that, we showed you guys several different automated turnstiles they look like hurdles that you jump over and track. They would lift up and block the supercharger from being iced. We showed you one that was really short that wouldn't work here in the States because what my wife calls jungle trucks would just drive right over them without making any contact. And then another one that was in a parking garage where those trucks don't fit. So that was pretty cool. One of them was operated by a QR code and another by a third-party app. I'm not sure which one this is, but now you instead of using the app or the QR code, you are now able to use the Tesla app to lower them. And what I think should happen on a car with anywhere from 1 to 8 cameras, maybe automatically read the QR code and lower it yourself.
Right. They are connected cars. I think you nailed it. That is the direction they're going.
Yeah. And so basically, so this is the one in the parking garage. So as you see, the lifted truck would glide right over that with no problem without making contact. But, regular sedan, regular SUV would have trouble with it. And so you come in and you scan the code on this particular one, scan the code on your phone, and it lowers. And when you're done, it goes back up. And this helps to keep the spots from being abused. And then the other one didn't have all that, but it was just the app. And I think there were like 4 different versions of these we've seen over the years. And as Patrick said, we're getting closer to automation now that they have pulled it into the Tesla app among lots of stuff that's now in the Tesla app, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool tech.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm curious about is why can't this be implemented from the car's touchscreen?
I don't even think it needs to be from the touchscreen because all the cars have at least the backup camera, and you have to back into the supercharger anyway. And
Yeah.
QR codes are very light, and these are Linux computers, so literally you don't even have to be searching for this all the time. You can say, hey, they're within a quarter mile of a supercharger. Turn on the QR code interpreter. Oh, found one. Oh, it's getting closer. Okay, we need to lower bay 3.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably where they're heading.
Yeah.
It would make sense that they could use the backup camera. As you said, they do have to back up into the stall regardless. So you may as well use that camera to. But this is probably the next best thing, because I understood that there used to be a third-party app that you had to use to lower it, and then now they've eliminated that because they've been able to put it inside the Tesla app. But
Right.
I would think that there at some point the car would be able to read this and do this itself. This is probably an interim solution.
You know what? I bet you maybe because these very much feel like trials. I bet you once they try to bring this to Europe or the US, North America, I bet you it'll be fully integrated by then. Like Tesla Automation will build the robot, and then Tesla software will control when you've arrived. What would be even cooler though is as you arrive, after you've put it in the map that hey, I'm coming to the supercharger, the one you need just folds down that way. If you're at a shared stall, it'll just
Right. And it's just if you've reserved it, that's one way to make sure that you get your reserved spot. Is that it will only fold down for you, and it knows where you're at and that you're on your way.
And they know there's a line now. I've seen this at some of the busier stations where it says, "Hey, there's a 5-minute wait." Well, like after Thanksgiving at Elizabeth, New Jersey, where I cut the line because nobody was moving, perhaps it would have enforced and made me wait my turn. I was 6th in line, and nobody was moving. But if I came up, it would have just stayed up. But if it was my turn, it would come down.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to deploy this widely around the world. One of the beautiful things about Tesla supercharging network is you just pull in, plug in, and you're done. And having driven other EVs, when you have to pull out the app, scan some QR code, you may or may not, your phone may or may not have connectivity, the card reader may or may not be working on that stupid thing. It's a pain in the butt. And Tesla just makes it so easy. They're not going to ruin that experience.
No, but like they said in China has a problem with icing because there's a problem with parking spaces in China. In a number of the large cities, there's no place to park. So people are breaking the rules any way they can to park their vehicle because there is no place to park. There's a shortage of parking spots, and people are willing to take that risk. So that's something they had to develop because of the local, I guess, what was happening locally. You don't really find that in North America at this time. It seems to be a little bit more relaxed. There's more parking spots, and people aren't that desperate.
Christmas Eve and Black Friday at the mall locations.
There you go.
Iced.
There you go. Yeah.
Iced.
They could do it just in the places where they have this problem. That makes sense. They don't have to do it 100%.
Yeah. Cool. No need for this in Lexington, Kentucky. I can guarantee that.
Right.
This is Patrick's story. My mistake. Tesla delivery numbers possibly in 2022.
That's right. Yes. So as much as we razz each other about which factory is going to be online first, in 2022, I'm pretty sure they're both going to be cranking out cars. And so this is a story on Tasmanian where they are speculating that Tesla could be producing 1.5 million cars next year, which is in line with they had just less than 1 million this year, 50% growth. So 1.5 million seems very achievable, and of course there's a lot. There's a lot to be. How are these ramps going to go? We will see, but. As I was saying earlier, I'm hoping that a year from now I can sell the stock that I just bought for significantly more than it's today. Well, what's going to help make that happen if they ramp up production in these factories, that they're going to go from effectively 2 factories making cars to 4. And there are other components made at Giga Nevada and other places, but for this rounding error, it's going from 2 to 4, and that's a big deal. That's a major step forward. And 2022 looks like it's going to be an exciting year to follow Tesla, just like every year has been an exciting year to follow Tesla.
Yeah, they're going to go from 3 factories making components to 5.
Right.
Like 3 big factories. I mean, they have way more factories than that. Like they have this heat factory across the street from Fremont, for instance. But so I think that the 1.5 is a softball. Yeah, Cato Road. Tesla and Elon have been guiding that these ramps will be very slow, but we've seen the way that both of these entities operate, both Elon and Tesla, that once they have proven it will work, they're gonna go ahead and get 10%. Okay, 50%. All right, you're running at full speed tomorrow. So I think that will be what we see, and right now they're just under 1 million, probably add 1 million if we were to start this year over with the current capacity, and 500,000 per factory is what they were guiding on the most recent literature. So that's an easy number for them to hit, even if it takes them a long time to ramp, assuming that there's no major failures with the factories themselves or lack of batteries, chips, paint, etc.
Right. Yes, there's certainly a lot of unknowns, so it makes sense to give a slightly discounted number and hope it's something that they can achieve and exceed when you're forecasting.
Yeah. And then this is by the end of the year they're going for, right? Because at the beginning of the year, these things are going to be crawling.
Oh yeah,
right.
Be crawling for the ramp up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the run rate at the end of the year will be significantly above this, I think.
Yeah. And then the other piece of news that's kind of attached to this is Giga Shanghai is again exceeding all expectations. They expect it's going to be at 600,000 units over the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's surpassing Fremont, and it's ramping higher. So and then we talked about 2 weeks ago about the extra $188 million that's been invested in Shanghai to push out production even more than what it currently is. So Shanghai is definitely the star in the Tesla crown based on volume. It's it is something that is running leaps and bounds in the Tesla world above others. I am really curious to see how Giga Texas and Berlin stack up to Shanghai once they're up, spooled up and running. Obviously, that's not going to be for over a year, I would imagine, based on them just getting up a line or two. They're going to be building and building and building as that year goes along. More and more lines are going to be added, but it'll be interesting to see if they can catch up to that type of volume, or if the output's going to be larger just because those plants are larger than Shanghai.
I was about to say, they're bigger, aren't they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
So the increases that they promised for Fremont, are those coming after these two come online and take off some of that load, or are they going to just increase Fremont regardless?
I don't know the timing on that. I'm not sure about that, but I could see a case for both sides.
Fremont is so handicapped with if you look at the Shanghai factories and stuff comes in at one end, cars go out the other in a nice straight line. Fremont, not so much. You got to go over here for paint and over there, and it zigzags and so
they have a station where a car literally gets picked up, moved over something else, and then put back down to continue its journey.
They had to work with what they were given, right? They didn't get to custom build the NUMMI plant. It wasn't theirs to begin with. So in Fremont, they're having to play by the rules that were laid down before them.
Yeah.
Right. So after Austin is online, maybe they can do an extended shutdown in Fremont and redesign it now that they know what they need. And since Fremont is carrying the bulk of all the U.S. orders and some of the European orders, they can't do that, right? They have to keep it cranking as fast as they can, but
Right.
maybe they'll get some breathing room after the other gigafactories are online.
Yeah, they could take Model Y out of there. That would give them some room to shuffle stuff, and then they could shuffle the 3, and then once 3 is running the way they like, they could then do one line of S and X, and then they do the other line of S and X, and hopefully they have enough room to shuffle in such a manner. But like you said, it wouldn't hurt them to just do a complete shutdown once they have an alternative. They stopped making S and X for almost a year and still did fine.
Oh, can you imagine if they did a complete shutdown? Everybody would be like, Tesla's leaving California.
Yes,
They're
they
going
would.
to Texas. The rumors would go crazy. So let's start them right now, right here.
They absolutely would.
Yes.
Our next story is our friend Sandy Munro of Monroe and Associates.
Came to my neck of the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Drove right through. But
He stopped too.
Sandy had indicated that they were going to buy a Model S Plaid if they could raise the funds from viewers and people that donate. And they actually got it less than a week ago. And Sandy had indicated that before there's going to be a teardown, he had promised that he would take the car on a quick road trip. And from this photo that I will share here, let's just share that screen. Boom, there it is. You can see it's on the road. Actually, this photo is taken from a parking garage that I stopped in just outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. So he was charging at 72. As you can see, it's an urban charger behind him. And that allowed them to have a great lunch with a Tesla community that had hosted the lunch. And they had a couple hours to let the car charge, and that was good for the tour. So he left Detroit. He went to Indianapolis. He headed down towards Louisville, Kentucky, then Maryland, Nashville, then Atlanta. And then he turned around and started up north along the East Coast, up into and through the Carolinas and into the Northeast. Drove by Casey's, gave him a wave, but Casey didn't see him. So he kept going.
The Maryland club stopped and chatted with him, but I didn't want to fight traffic just to see Sandy.
Absolutely.
For 5 minutes.
And then further north into Boston area. And finally up into Quebec, Montreal area. Turned around, started head down the 401 into Ontario. He went through Toronto. He went through London, Ontario today, and ended up in Windsor, Ontario at the end of today. So his journey's done in under a week. But
they were hauling butt.
there was a lot of people that he touched base with. And if you want to follow Sandy on Twitter, you can follow his run by typing in hashtag Sandy Plaid Tour, and that will give you all the stops and some videos that were uploaded to his Twitter feed and such. So he also indicated that the teardown of this Plaid will begin sometime in January. So they're going to take a break for Christmas, and then Munro and Associates will get out their blow torches and go to work on that brand new Model S Plaid.
Oh, that is so sad.
It's exciting.
We are going to get a lot of questions answered once they start tearing into that car. But you're right, Patrick. It's
why can't
with,
they buy
with that being such a limited vehicle, and then for them to just rip it apart, it is sad to see.
I'm sure there's one that's been totaled. They could just take that one. That would be.
There are a couple that have been totaled.
Yeah. Just grab one of those and tear it apart. Then I wouldn't feel so bad. I did watch. He had someone from Autoline come and they were
Don McElroy
in the Plaid, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And it was a funny video because there were parts of it where they were talking about how fast they were going, and they beeped it out because they were on public roads and they didn't want to have documented evidence that they were breaking the law.
At least they were smart and bleeped it out. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There was one.
That would be fun to lose the teardown.
Yes, Sandy said, "Okay, we're going to punch it," and the guy from Autoline was like, no, not here in the parking lot. There's not enough room. When you can get going that fast over such a short distance, if you need to, you might need to be on the brakes half a second later.
Right.
Sandy's not a spry chicken with fast reflexes, so that was probably good advice.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I met John once. That was cool. Yeah.
Well, New York City apparently is looking to order about $12.38 million worth of Model 3s. So New York's plan, of course, has been to green their their municipal fleet. And they have indicated that Tesla is on their purchasing list for somewhere between 250 and 300 vehicles, which add up to that $12+ million. So this could be for their parks and rec area. It could be for police. It could be for a number of different things that the municipality uses. But it
sounded like they were just putting them in the fleet, and then whatever departments needed them then needed to do their departmental request.
It's almost like they have a fleet pool, and then groups kind of bide for, well, we need 5 of something. We'll take those.
This will be a park ranger. This will be a police car. This is going to be supervisor number 12.
I remember that when Chevy Volt came out in 2012, that New York had purchased a number of them for different departments within New York. Even the police had a Chevy Volt car to collect parking tickets or something. It certainly wasn't to chase down criminals on the highway, but they had a Parks and Rec, a Central Park. I remember seeing a vehicle, so I can imagine that these Teslas are going to be used for those type of purposes as well.
And some other interesting things that came up on this. The only reason we even know about this is because it was a sole source contract. So that means that they felt that only Tesla could meet their requirements, and so because of that, it had to be a certain protocol had to be followed, which is. One of these was this public announcement, public comment period. And that's exciting because that means that they looked at other EVs and determined they don't do what we want. So we need this many Model 3 rear-wheel drives. And
kind of like the Hertz deal, right? They looked at what was available and said, this is our choice.
Yeah.
So a vote of confidence.
Yeah. And then in the comments on one of the articles I was looking at, I was saying, oh, thankfully they weren't bolts because of the troubles.
Next, we got a story coming out of the UK. Tesla, unbeknownst to us, actually had apparently a UK test for police vehicles. So it looks like Tesla was involved with a 9-month test and data collection of
it wasn't
vehicles.
Unknown to us. We touched on it for like a half a second because they gave us no details on it before now.
So what they've done is we can switch over here to a photo that I always love the police colors for the UK.
Oh, that okay.
The yellows and blues and whites, just incredible.
And the safety hats on the back
stand out, which is what they're supposed to do. But Tesla apparently collected data from a few, I guess, test vehicles that were given to police forces to try in the UK. And the 9 months of information had come back, and basically some glowing reviews from the police department, which is great to hear. They were able to show the maintenance savings. They were able to show that it was not a problem using an EV in a police role. They were able to show that the charging of the vehicle was not a hindrance to the police force at all.
Even while hot seating the car, like literally Officer A gets out, Officer B comes on shift B, the car had no downtime, and it is still good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And of course, being in certain areas, they were able to show that the police could even do a quick charge at a supercharger without a real issue. So the problem of people claiming that they were going to be a hindrance and no one would use them is not the case in the UK for the Model 3. So this may open it up to other police departments in the UK to actually start purchasing them. Great news. A 9-month survey. Hopefully they can, the other police departments will be able to look at that data and start to make judgments themselves based on the UK cutting this road first and being able to record some of the information that they saw. So
yeah, and Hockey Day, that brings up a good point as well. They touched on this on the data they put out. The drag wasn't worth putting the light bar on top. They suggested not necessarily stealth, but mounting them at least inside the windows to keep them inside the aerodynamic space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'll just touch on something else. You can look this up. This wasn't in our show notes, but if you want to learn a little bit more, apparently the Ford Mach-E was tested by the Michigan State Police, and its report was not even close to as glowing as the Tesla report was over in the UK. So I'm not going to get into that because this is a Tesla podcast, but if you're curious, Google that and you can see the results for the Mach-E that Ford received from the Michigan Police.
I wonder if there's a business opportunity for making aerodynamic light bars. Make it look like the Aptera profile.
Low profile.
Exactly. Yeah. Could be. Next story. Yes, the Roadster. Just a few days ago on the Tesla website, the Roadster Founder Series was dropped from the purchasing area. So it had been up on the website all this time, and then just recently, the option of buying a Founder Series Roadster, that's of course the next gen Roadster, was taken off the website. So Tesla hasn't made an official statement as to why it was removed, and there is some speculation as to whether or not it was because a set amount had been reached and they had stopped the Founder Series, which had been done in the past. Or is this, something along the lines of we're not sure when it's going to be produced? Is this about rising costs? Really don't know. It's open for interpretation. But Tesla has in the past, of course, limited the Founder Series up to a certain number and then stopped offering it. So that has happened recently with the next gen Roadster. So we'll have to see if we get any more nuggets of information, maybe during Elon's update about the company product roadmap that's going to be happening sometime early in the first quarter.
And that follows the CyberTruck doing the same situation. Not that they had a Founder Series CyberTruck, but they pulled the price and they made some changes. So what's interesting on this one is the Founder Series Roadster. You had to put down
the whole amount.
Yeah. You could put down a certain amount on your credit card, and then you had to wire them the rest of the $250 within a week. And some people had their money in there now since 2017, 2018? When did that thing come out?
It's been a couple years for people. Yep.
Yeah. One of the Tesla YouTubers, he did a chart. He's like, I don't even want to look and see how much that money would have been had they bought Tesla stock instead of a Roadster.
Oh, yeah, that would be painful.
It could be.
Yeah, if they only would have 6x your money, $1.5 million.
Could have bought 6 Roadsters, or
right. So now when you go to the website, aside from not telling you the price, not telling you what's included, blah 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 blah, they only want $50,000 because that's your order fee, your reservation fee, and then they'll get the rest from you as it comes time to actually get into the factory because it's not a Founder's car anymore.
So you can still order a Roadster. It's just the Founder's
just not a Founder Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put down the entire amount now. Just $50K.
You still got to get them that $50K within a week.
Right, but not $250K.
Right. It's a little more palatable. Only a Model 3, a well-equipped Model 3. There you go.
Just put down a Model 3 as your deposit.
Exactly.
I would still buy the stock and just wait till this thing starts going into production. Not a stock show, but that's what I would do.
Next, Casey kind of introduced this already. We've had a lot of news about the Cybertruck. What's going on there?
Oh yeah. This would be included in that, wouldn't it? So what I was thinking of, the Cybertruck, it was on the test track at Fremont the other day, and the drone army found it. And And then they managed to get some pictures that I didn't understand where they got them from the video they linked to, and turns out there was another video that actually showed it doing laps, and that was impressive. And so
I got a picture here I can share while you're talking.
Awesome. And so I'll describe it as we look at it. There are some changes between the prototype and this alpha beta unit. One thing you'll notice, Mark, go ahead and point at the top of the truck there, the peak. You'll notice that it's got a curve to it. That's because the windshield is now curved instead of flat. And then to the rear of that same pane of glass, we notice that there's now an overhang over the bed. And then, of course, everybody can see the giant windshield wiper that's
yes. We got to talk about that windshield wiper.
and the mirrors. So the windshield wiper, Elon has said it's not the final design. They're looking at different ways they might handle it. Even if it stays one piece, it might start kind of stowed in the back of the front lid. Hopefully they do that, but he was concerned about complexity when it came time to actually deploy these things. They like to simplify and remove parts, not make a mechanical frunk that's automated in the back. So we'll see how that goes. And
is the blue painter's tape a change?
The blue painter's tape, I don't think they were expecting it to make the news. So
the team has been busy. This is a new.
Yeah, there's also blue painter's tape inside the cabin. Over the passenger dash. The dash is huge. Look at where the driver sits and look at where the dash starts.
Yeah, dash ends here and it goes all the way up here. So it's
hopefully that means
probably about 4.5 feet.
Right. Hopefully that means that the frunk is just that big, like the OG Model S.
Yeah, you don't want to have your dash top rated as in part of your storage space. That's not a good spot for stuff.
Right. Another thing you might have noticed was the B-pillar camera opening appears to be much larger than today's cars. And then underneath that B-pillar camera, there appears to be the swipey part from the Roadster prototype. So that is interesting. And also it had, for real this time, not because it was a potato camera, that for real there were no door handles on this truck this time.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a button on the B pillar. People thought there was an indentation on the B pillar to possibly press to open the door. Possibly, we don't know what it is, but it's new. So, and of course, with that 4-foot long wiper blade that we saw in the photo, Elon was quick to update to say that that's not a production wiper. The production wiper is yet to be seen, but it does lead us down the road of what is going to be required to wipe that massive windshield. Showing that such a long wiper arm, having a single wiper, not going to help the other side as much. So it's going to be interesting. Are they going to do the butterfly where they lay flat and then they go up like that and lay flat again, or are they going to stick them so they do more aerodynamic and stick up and then wipe down? So
the windshield has a similar configuration to the Model X, so they just got to wipe above the driver's vision and they can hit the passenger side just fine.
Or it could just move across like a squeegee.
They have a patent for that, magnetically propelled and held, etc. Where linear wiper. Mm-hmm. So that would be the coolest, but that's not what was on that prototype. That prototype just had a long wiper. And the inside of the bed is now black.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. I would hope that if this does go into production at the end of 2022, I would hope that the public would get to see it, at least a month before they start to roll that out. So they do have some time to work with it, but it is going to be interesting to see how they add these little bits. And of course, the wheels were a little bit different as well.
I like these wheels without the covers on them. I wasn't a fan of the covers.
Yeah. We don't know if the covers are just missing and that's the wheel that's underneath them.
That would be awesome.
But it's Tesla's done that in the past. Of course, with my Model 3, it's got a fantastic aluminum rim underneath the hideous hubcaps that are hanging on my wall back here. So
you thought they were so Tesla, ugly you show them off?
Yeah, they're so ugly that I took them off the vehicle day 2 and said, that's it. They're not going back on. So
The 21 model year version of your hubcaps do actually look a little bit better.
bite your tongue, Casey. They're horrible.
They look better than the original, is what I'm saying. They look a little bit better.
They
than,
might.
Yeah,
But they would still fill out another row below my original ones if I had them too. So I do not see myself using those. The rim that comes with the car is so vastly nicer looking.
Oh, yes.
There's no comparison. No comparison.
This is the point that Tesla was
I
forced to make a beauty kit.
I still get people that are shocked to know that nice rim is underneath that ugly hubcap.
Yeah.
Some people are thinking, "Oh, you got some aftermarket rims." No, that's what came with the car.
All I did was put lug covers and a center cap. Boom,
that's right.
done.
That's right. So.
And you made a video showing how to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. One other thing I wanted to bring up with Test Track is we didn't have this, but the Tesla Semi was also spotted last week, traveling around at Giga Nevada, just touring around the parking lot, doing a few loops, and of course, Drone Nation caught that as well. So if you want to watch the Semi do a couple laps in the back parking lot, that's available for you to see as well.
And not only did they catch that, they also noticed that this particular Semi did not have any of the DOT markings or license plate. So it's very possible this was the same equivalent of the 50-mile test drive that the occasional Model S3, S, and X and Y will get when they go through the factory, because it might be Pepsi's truck.
Could be.
Because Pepsi would be responsible for putting their own numbers and plates on the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we will have to see for sure. Next, just wanted to touch upon this. The GTA Tesla owners organized a food drive over this weekend for the Durham Food Bank, and were able to successfully bring a number of Tesla owners to share some food with the food bank. So they were set up on Saturday at a local supercharger, and they were out to spread some Christmas joy. So it was good to see them, and a quick shout out to Ken at the EV Revolution Show, also Dax at Tesla Talks, and Franklin from Mother Frunker, which is available. All these guys have Twitter feeds that you can follow them there. So congratulations to a successful food drive, and we hope you do it again next year.
I like that handle.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's dangerous to say, though.
Yes.
The show is live. Anything could happen.
Next, Patrick has got a story about some treadwear. What's going on there, Patrick?
Right. Yeah, this is really, really cool. So Teslas, they're computers on wheels. And with over-the-air updates, you never know what they're going to sneak in there. Teslas are currently some of the safest cars on the road. And they've got cool features like cabin overheat that nobody else has. And now they're going to add yet another really cool feature that nobody else has. With the electric motors, they are monitoring everything about ABS 1,000 times a second. They're checking to see and make sure that the wheels aren't slipping on the road. And as part of this, they're also able to detect the number of revolutions per second that your wheel is making. And if they determine that one of them is spinning a little faster than the others, they can detect that particular tire has some road wear on it. And if that is happening, then that could be unsafe. So they're able to detect your tread depth by looking at how fast the car is going and how many RPMs that particular wheel is making. And then they can tell you, hey, there's some uneven tread wear, or your tread depth is too low. And this is a new feature that it seems to be rolling out in 2021.44.5 software. And this little note didn't even make it into the changelogs, although it should, because this is a cool feature. And now you know. I don't want to steal Zach and Jesse's comment. So, how about you are now aware?
There you go.
The more you know. So, I wonder how this would have handled how I did my Model S, because I was a cheap little bugger, and I would put new tires in the back, and I would roll the old tires to the front, and I would never change all 4 tires on my Model S, even though it was all-wheel drive. On the Model X, I've only changed them once, and they all went together, so that was easy.
And
Plus,
you can't do your old trick on the X, the front and the rear.
That too.
Sizes.
Yes, the rear tires are at least 10 millimeters bigger than the front tires, depending on what year and equipment your Model X is. And if you do put back tires up front and try to turn, it won't be pleasant. And if you do the other direction, then they're too small, and you might have a blowout.
Are all tires within 1 or 2 millimeters of each other? Like if you were to buy a set of Pirellis compared to a set of Michelins, is there
no?
Like if you had the same numbers on the tires, the P155 whatever, are they?
No,
all...
some of them have different tread depths. Like I had a set that came with 8s, and another that came with 10s, and so it
is it going to get to the point now, like when you change your tires, the car sometimes alerts you about, hey, pick the size of rim that you have on your car, because it recognized there was a difference, and you can say, oh yeah, I've switched now to my 18s for the winter, and back in the spring I changed them back to 19s or 20s. So I wonder if they're going to have to enter in to get this tread wear, where millimeters count. I wonder if they're going to have to start introducing, hey, well, what type of tires did you put on it? Michelin?
Well, that would be cool.
Or they can smartly figure it out, right? So when you put new tires
when you put the new ones on, right?
Then,
your value changes drastically.
The
even
tire
better.
Pressure monitor system has to go through a recalibration before it can display.
That too.
So that could be a good hint to them that, oh, hey, they might have just got new tires on, so you recalibrate that, and then now that's what they know to expect, and then they can monitor it from there.
Yeah, makes sense.
This is some clever software.
Yeah. They probably adjust to people like me that do 2 tires at a time.
And based on the clever software, and of course many, many other interesting things that have happened through 21, Elon apparently has received 2 Person of the Year designations from both Time Magazine and the Financial Times. This came out within the last few days. So Elon's face will be gracing the cover of those 2 publications. And of course, there will be stories inside about Elon and the different things that were performed during 2021, certainly going into the details of the companies that he is at the helm of and things that he's touched. So definitely look forward to seeing those articles because there might be some inside information that is released through those articles. But yeah, that's not a surprise. Elon definitely, as Hockey Day has said, Elon is a GOAT. That, of course, is the greatest of all time. So he is certainly is something that would be... it tells you all sorts of things, doesn't it? Yeah.
If it starts telling me I should start a diet, now we're over the line.
No, even better. You tell it to go to some guilty food store, and it suggests you go to the salad store instead.
Yes. Right. Yes. It says better suggestion. We should go here. Yeah.
Right. Navigate to some fast food place, taking you to salad bar.
So he's certainly a notable guy, and kudos, like he's earned it. There were a lot of scuttlebutt, people suggesting that other people should have earned it. There were a lot of good contenders, and a lot of the people that were suggested that also deserved it weren't even in the nomination because they're regular, everyday folks like us. So I feel we'll have a discussion on this on the next show.
Yeah, it's like any Person of the Year selection. It's always up for interpretation and people second guessing and whatever. But it's certainly an honor, and I think certainly based on Elon's achievements over the past number of years, not just in 2021, he certainly would be eligible for such an award that he has received this year.
Yeah, over the last couple decades, he's been making big moves.
Yep. Next, Casey's got a story about some more merch.
Merch, swag, stuff we all get, except you got to pay for it, so it's just merch. So
it ain't free.
It's not free. We talked about the Cyber Whistle and then the Cyber Quad, and then we previously talked about how some of the folks working at Giga Austin were able to secure themselves a limited edition "Don't Mess with Texas" Tesla Giga Texas belt buckle, and then we talked about how they were going for massive amounts of money. Well, Tesla did another drop. If you haven't heard of drops, think of a company like Supreme. They do drops and limited time offerings of random products like this, and so for 250? No, 250. It was over $100 though. I think it was $150. Yeah, there we go, $150. And you could secure yourself a Tesla Texas belt buckle. Right now, it's sold out in the U.S. Let me check out the Canada site real quick. Yeah. So I don't wear aftermarket belt buckles, but I managed to secure one without spousal approval.
Well, yeah. So that's
so I'll be handing it over to her once it arrives because not only would I not use it, but I also didn't get permission for it. But we'll see what happens with it. I want to get one and put it on the shelf. And then the Tesla Gen 3 wall connector, you can spend, what is it, $100, $200, get a faceplate cover to make it match your car. Which would be even more interesting when we get more than 5 car colors. Will they update this?
You can, of course, wrap your wall charger without a charge.
This is true. Or with a much substantially lower charge.
If you go get your car wrapped, you have to take this in with you. And
yes, that's right. You got to take the plate off and bring it with you. What's that? Don't worry about it. Just wrap it. Oh, by the way, I need the logo and a slit for the legs.
Right.
Oh.
Yep. So more merch in the merch store, and the belt buckle's sold out, but I don't believe all the face plates are sold out yet. So
right, and the face plates will probably be something they keep in stock. They weren't.
Now that I've said that, I'm sure they're sold out. But go take a look anyways.
Just the popular colors, which is all
exactly. And our last story of the evening.
Oh, the free color is white.
Yeah, free colors. The free colors. Yeah, the free color's white. That came with it, exactly.
Right, but now that you have a choice of a second free color, that's not free. You gotta pay.
That's right. Midnight Silver. So apparently, Elon had announced on Twitter, as some of his followers were asking about, is it Dogecoin or Dogecoin?
Dogecoin.
Doge. Yep. So it's Dogecoin.
Some people call it Dougie.
Had indicated that Tesla was going to allow some small purchases off the Tesla store to use Dogecoin. So that, of course, was happy news to Dogecoin holders and speculators, as they're wanting that currency to come into the mainstream and start to being used with many businesses. So
did it shoot up on that tweet?
I'm sure it did.
I'm
sure it did. Although I have to admit, I don't have it. I don't follow it. So I'm not sure for sure, but certainly with Bitcoin, any announcements that Elon had made had, pushed it higher, lowered it back and forth. So I wouldn't be surprised if it affected the worth of Dogecoin after it was announced. Anybody in the chat, if you know, or if you're out there, please send us a little note and let us know what you saw when it was announced. But so that is some interesting news that happened this week. No shortage. I had to cut 4 stories from our feed anyways because the amount, but we will definitely be back next week with another round. But if you're still watching at this point, please give us a thumbs up at this point if you haven't already. Give us a follow. That helps us out. It puts us in front of more eyeballs through the YouTube algorithm, and it's free, and you're helping us out. You're supporting the show, so we would really appreciate that. With that, we'll go to Patrick for some parting words. Anything happening, Patrick, in carswithcords.net?
That's right. I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, and I had a queue of stories. They're all empty. So luckily, I'm going to be taking some time off for the holidays, and I'm sure I'll be blogging like crazy. And I am with, as you can see here, the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association, oeva.org. You can check us out there.
And what's the mission at carswithcords.net?
That's right. Yeah. So that's my logging my journey towards a future free from fossil fuels.
You thought we forgot.
Can't forget the F-bomb.
The F-bomb, exactly. And Casey, what do you got happening this week over at Casey Green YouTube channel?
So on Sundays, we've got our chats, and then I'm working on a destination charger review. I've got it all laid out, but now I need to figure out what I'm going to do with, I got a lot of photos, and they had some live music, and I thought it was very well done, so I need to figure out how to get that in there and then keep the length at one of my medium-sized videos, because it is an interview, so I don't want to just cut out all the good stuff, but I also want to include some more, so that'll be interesting, and we'll get that out there. As well, if it starts raining, I'm going to try a FSD beta in the rain. And as I said, the 10.6.1 has all the annoyances and some of the extra smoothness over 10.5, so I might not make a regular video. We'll see the next time I need to make a trip where it's out in the daylight. I can do it at night, but that's really boring. You can find that over at youtube.com/CaseyGreen.
Fantastic. Want to thank all of you for watching. Of course, the regulars, Hockey Day, JT, Jay Ryan, David Watts. We've got a new follower, Trent. And who else we got here? Timothy Fay showed up. And of course, Zachary from Chicago joined us this evening. Thanks for everyone for joining us in the chat. And we appreciate it. And we will see you next week. And together we will find out what's happening in the Tesla life. Good night, everyone. Have yourselves a great evening.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Thank you, Lee Moon, for this music.